Welcome back to an amazing, juicy session. So I've got a very special guest on today who went to Father Christmas at 3 years of age and asked if she could heal the world. That was her wish. And Spirit took that very, very seriously and delivered later on in her life a KitKat into her shower. I know this all sounds a bit weird, but once you meet her, you will understand how powerful she actually is. So my beautiful guest is Lakhmi from the 111 movement, and she believes that in 1 minute you can heal the world and you should heal yourself too. Let's get started. This is going to be a good one. So welcome, my darling. I'm so excited to have you here.
Oh my
and
gosh.
I have known you a very long time, but I want everyone else to kind of get the gist of how powerful you actually are right now. So I'm going to share something that I've never heard anyone ever say, anyone. And when you told me this story, I literally just sat there going with my mouth open. I just couldn't find any words, but it all made so much sense. So you were age 3.
Yeah.
And you went to see Father Christmas.
Yeah, well, one of the teachers was dressed up as Father Christmas at school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then you walked up to Father Christmas / teacher.
Yeah.
And they said, obviously, what would you like for Christmas? And you replied, do you want to say?
Yeah, like I just said, I want peace on earth. And then I just remember this so vividly. Like all the teachers were like, oh, and all the kids in my school. And I went to like a private school, so that, like all the school was there.
Yeah.
Because there was only about 80 of us in this whole school. They all started laughing. They all started laughing. And I was just like, and that for me was just like a core memory. And I was just like, oh, I'm just that weird kid, aren't I?
Oh, I know that feeling. And so did you consciously know back then, like what that actually was? Like, did you know what you meant by it? Can you remember?
Yeah, because I always grew up in a spiritual household, um, but a very unconventional spiritual household
Yeah.
because my family are like my ancestors are from Punjab, so
Mhm.
traditionally we're from a Sikh family. But my dad actually introduced our family to a spiritual master or like
Mm.
a guru from India who was actually Hindu at birth, but then he got blessed and he started seeing a lot of deities from all different religions. So he
Mm.
would be channeling and reciting the Bible, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, the Guru Granth Sahib. So he was like preaching
Yeah.
humanitarianism because he was like, listen, oh, he was like 11 years old as well. He wasn't like a fully grown adult. Anyway, my dad really resonated with his teachings and he brought him back to England
Mm.
and he would stay in our house and he would take me from like age 6 months. I'll be sitting on his lap in front of hundreds of people on stage while he was giving his sermons. So I think I was kind of already in tune with that, but I just didn't know it. So that was my normal. So for me, humanitarianism, not seeing race or differences, looking at similarities
Oh,
and just
yeah.
wanting the best for people and our planet was just my norm.
I love that. I
Uh,
absolutely love that. And so that was installed in you from very young age, wasn't it?
yeah.
And this is why you're so passionate about healing and why you understand how everybody needs healing, everyone. And do you feel then throughout your life you were kind of healing yourself as you were growing up? Or do you feel like there was almost an awareness of your emotions so it wasn't as, you know how we collect trauma as we go through life?
Yeah.
Do you feel because you've been like aware very young how trauma can be built that you kind of didn't need to do as much?
Honestly, no, because and I love telling people this because I feel like a lot of people could resonate with this. Although I was spiritually blessed when I was growing up, m- that spiritual master, he actually was assassinated
Oh my
when I was
God.
about 3.5, actually. Actually, no, when was it? Must have been at 2.5, yeah, 3 years old, because he was preaching, like getting people together. He was actually going to do a peace summit with Prince Charles here in the UK. But ruffled feathers, that's just another story for another day. But he was assassinated and I didn't know because my family didn't tell me. They would just tell me he's in India. And it was only when I was about 7 or 8, perhaps a little bit older, that I realised that actually he had died a long time ago. I rebelled massively against everything. So I was that kid asking why all the time. Why?
Yeah.
But there were, because I grew up in quite a strict household, I will be honest. I just, something inside me was like, but why? Why do we have to do this? And there was always that inner like yearning to understand who made these rules. And I even question it to this day, like, who says that we should have to do this and that,
Yeah.
you know? And I just went the other way. And I think I spoke to you about this as well when I was working with you, that I used to suffer with sleep paralysis. So I
Yeah.
used to see the really dark energies. And back then, growing up in the 90s, there was nothing to tell you what that meant or
No.
how to manage it or how to protect yourself. Now you go into Waterstones, which I love, by the way. I love that we're in a time now that
We're in fashion.
yeah,
saying.
you said it in your last episode.
We're
We're
in
like,
trend.
we're on trend now. We're
Yeah.
trendy. But you go to Waterstones and there's a whole section for like spiritual
Yeah.
development and manifestation and stuff. But back then we had nothing.
I
So
know.
I was so scared. And I will share this story as well because I love this story. And I only came to know about it when my mum reminded me only a couple of years ago, when I came back onto this spiritual path, because like I said, I rebelled. I went down. I was like an atheist. I don't believe anything. I like science.
I can't imagine you as an atheist.
100%.
Seriously.
Yeah. I went through all the phases: the goth phase, the emo phase, the punk rock phase.
Can I please have photo evidence of all this?
Oh my
Because
God,
I've known you a while, worked with you a while. You kept that from me.
But I always had this inner, like, do you remember The Craft, that movie
Oh
about the four witches?
yes. Yeah.
I'd always had this I was all drawn to the occult and like spirit, like, I guess it's spirituality now, although occult, but back then that's not what it was called. But funnily enough, up until very recently, and up until I started working with you, actually, I was so scared about ghosts and
No,
spirit
I remember this. It took us a long time to get you free of that fear.
because of what I'd experienced when I was younger. Because
Yeah.
I had some beautiful experiences as well from what I can now recall, but those sleep paralysis experiences were really scary. So I shut it down. I was like, no, don't even say the G
Yeah.
word or the spirit word to me, because I wouldn't like it. But backtracking to that experience when I was 3 years old as well. Everything happened when I was 3. It's so weird. I had a dream. Oh no, I didn't have a dream. Sorry. I was walking up the stairs at 2:30 in the morning, a 3-year-old, by the way, eating a little 2-bar KitKat bar. And my mom obviously heard me, and she was like, where did you get that KitKat bar from? And I was just at 2:30 in the morning as well. And I said, oh, Maharaji, which is our spiritual master. I said, Maharaji said that he gave it to me. And it was in his fridge in his room, because he used to live with us when he was here in the UK. My mom, obviously, at the time was like, how is that possible? Because he had passed away. I'm there thinking he's still alive. So I must have seen a vision of him.
And he gave you the Kit Kat.
And he told me he used to always give me sweets and
Yeah.
stuff, right? And he was like, oh, there's something in the fridge for you, so go and get it. So obviously I just went, like, thinking, yeah, it's normal.
Yeah.
But my mom only told me recently, she was like, yeah, that happened like a year after he passed away. No one was
Oh my
allowed to go in his
God.
room. That fridge had been switched off and there was nothing in there. Like, there would never, even if it was a Kit Kat bar, it would have been like all melted, because it was like not,
Yeah.
it's been a year since he passed. And so that wasn't my first experience of actually seeing a proper sort of spirit, I guess. And then fast forward to 2020, and my mom has told me all this stuff in the like latter years when I got back into spirituality, because I only got back into spirituality in 2015 when I had my first ever experience with Reiki. And when my dad passed in 2020, I was like, we in our culture, we put things in the coffin, like little like things. I
I
don't know.
love this.
And it was COVID, obviously, everything was shut
Yeah.
down. And usually you do it at the house, but we had to do it at the funeral home because of the restrictions. And I remember I just had this I had this, I guess it was a channeling or a message, was like, put a KitKat in there for Margie, because obviously my dad was the first one to go in our family. So I'm running around the day before we're supposed to go and say our final goodbyes to dad, trying to find 2-bar KitKat bars, and I couldn't find them anywhere. There was only the 4-bar ones, and I thought I just have to get that. And I remember putting a 4-bar KitKat bar in my dad's coffin, whispering in his ear, says, 2's for Margie, and then you can eat the other 2.
Oh.
And then I kid you not, Katie, okay, so I had been staying with my family for about 6 to 8 weeks after my dad passed, because we were in lockdown. I live in London. So the first time I came back to London after my dad passed, I was with my now ex. I was still working because I was working from home. At the time, I was still in my medical job. And I just remember my ex cleaning the bathroom, and he just came into the kitchen to fill up the mop or something, the bucket, and he went back in the bathroom and he just shouted. He goes, "Who put a KitKat in the shower tray?" And I went, "What?" And he goes, "There's a 2-bar KitKat in the shower tray."
Oh, and he gave it you back.
So I was like,
Oh, I love it.
he was like, "Did you put that there?" I'm like, "I've been sitting here. I haven't moved in the 30 seconds that you've come into the
Yeah.
kitchen. Who put that there?" And then I told him the story, and I was like, "Oh my God." And my ex is like completely like not into any of this stuff. And he was just like, "What is that?" I still have the KitKat. I put it on my
Oh.
dad's like little thing. But how weird is that?
Well, not weird in
Not
my
weird.
world, but it's
Yeah.
amazing. And he gifted you back, and you obviously recognise it. A lot of people would go, "No, I must have put it there by mistake," but you don't take a Kit Kat in the shower, do you? So that's why he would have put it somewhere where you wouldn't have been able to rationalise it. And even like your ex wouldn't have been able to rationalise it.
Yeah.
But do you remember me and you went to Budapest?
Yeah.
And I don't think you remember this. And I went to the shop to get us something, or we bought, I can't remember, it might have been in the airport or something. I brought some sweets. And I said to you, I said, "I've got you a Kit Kat." Do you remember?
Oh my God.
I've
Yeah.
just
Yeah. Yeah.
remembered now as
Yeah.
you were saying it. And I said, "I hope that's okay."
Yes,
And you
because
went, "Why did you buy me a Kit Kat?" And I said, "I don't know, because I wouldn't have been opening the shop to Spirit, because obviously you know what I'm like, I'm open." But I don't think I've ever brought anyone a Kit Kat. Like,
I remember it
anyone? Do you
because
remember it? And you cried. And
yeah,
I was
because
like,
we were in we were in your hotel room because we were sitting to do that the whole day of channeling
yeah,
and work, and you had ordered some groceries from
that
Uber
was it.
Eats.
Uber
And
Eats.
then
Yeah.
you had just ordered me some stuff,
We
and
ordered
some snacks
salads, and I
and
said, "Oh, we need a bit of
water
sugar."
and sugar
Yeah.
and stuff. And then yeah, and that's when I told you that story.
Yes,
I
now I remember it
remember. I
now. And you went,
remember.
"Why did you buy me a Kit Kat?" And I went, "I don't know. I just felt this urge." But Kit Kats are an acquired taste, aren't they? They're not really everyone's favourite. And
Yeah.
so, and you were just sat there going, "Oh my God, we're on a spiritual retreat. We're tuning into spirit. We're about to open up. And you've brought me a Kit Kat, which is my sign." And I was like, "Is everything okay with the Kit Kat?" So,
I love it.
but
I
I just
love it
had
so
this
much.
urge to add it into I remember.
There you go.
Mm,
The Kit
there you
Kat.
go, Kit Kats. So love all this, and love how kind of like, your family are very evolved for back then. They were
Mhm.
very open to spirituality and also very religious. And what I love about your story, and I know your family, is that you combine both religion and the spirituality, both faith, and you know that they work simultaneously together in harmony. And there's not many people that are like that. So you're very lucky to have that equal balance and such a supportive family there with you. So talk us through. Obviously, you are a Reiki specialist, and I've got so much to talk about with the 111 movement. Like,
Yeah.
we've got loads coming, like loads.
So much.
But tell me about how you first got into like Reiki, and like, because I know, and I don't mean this in any derogatory way about Reiki, but I know you're a natural healer.
Mm.
So you can easily channel without following a Reiki procedure. But what made you go drawn towards Reiki? Is it to make it more appealing for other people, or so they understand?
No, it was just because it was like I said, from age about 8 till about 30, I'd switched
Mm,
off spirituality. I had no idea because no one had told me that this is you know, you've got gifts
Yeah.
and this, like, and it's only now I'm realizing actually I've come from a very spiritual family. My mom's very intuitive. My cousins that I grew up with in the same house, he's like a psychic, like he can see energy and stuff. I was like, when nobody told us this when we were living
It's
together for
amazing how it comes out when it's
yeah.
like more socially acceptable. Everyone starts telling you their stories, don't they?
Yeah, it's crazy. So I had that period of like massive rebellion and my atheist phase and going down, and I did a science degree at university, and I ended up working in medical as a clinical
Yeah.
trainer and stuff. So it was only in 2015 when I went to New Zealand on a family holiday, and we were staying with my uncle and my aunt, who's a beautiful Dutch lady called Caroline Panessan. I always give her so much love because her soul is just pure and just beautiful. And she was a Reiki master. And again, I love telling the story as well because we've just come on a 23-hour flight, and she'd prepared like the rooms for us.
Oh.
And she had a healing room. So she had all these crystals, dream catchers, all these weird and wonderful things. And my sister, there was a room opposite with a double
Yeah.
bed. She goes to my sister, she goes, Gunga, you're going to sleep in there. And then she's like, Lakhmi, I've laid out an air mattress in this room for you. And I'm thinking,
Surrounded by the power of crystals.
no, but more, I was like, Caroline Auntie, I can share the bed with Gunga. It's a double
Yeah.
bed. And she was like, no, I've prepared this room for you. And I just thought, oh my God, I've just got off a 23-hour flight, 24-hour flight. And now I have to sleep on an air mattress, and my sister gets like a double bed, and my parents and my brother get
Went
their own
wrong
rooms.
somewhere.
And I'm like, and then I was like, you know what? Doesn't matter. I'm so shattered. I'm probably just going to like conk out anyway.
Yeah.
But so I'm there, and I'm thinking, what is this room? Like, this is the first I've ever heard of crystals and stuff, right? So I had no clue what this stuff was, but I just thought this is a bit weird, bit of a hippified room. But I was like, yeah, let's go with it. And I remember falling asleep, and then around 3:30, I remember because I looked at the time when I woke up, I saw this white figure at the end of my bed, but I couldn't see the face, but it was the outline of a person, and it was glowing. But for the first time since I was 8 years old, I didn't feel scared, and I knew it was my grandma. And I was like, Mama, is that you? And I just felt this overwhelm. And as I say it now, I get the chills again. And I just thought, oh my gosh. And then it was like literally not even 30 seconds. And then I was like, and I fell back asleep. And I was like, I looked at the time, I was like, oh, I was like, and I thought I was dreaming. And the next morning when I was having breakfast, and I was saying to my aunt, I said, oh, I had the weirdest dream, but it didn't feel like a dream. And I told her, and she was smiling. She goes, it wasn't a dream, you were awake. And I was like, no, like it can't be. She was like, that's why I wanted you to sleep in the room. And that's
So
when,
she knew you were going to
yeah,
have that.
she could obviously pick up
Oh.
something in me. And then she gave me a Reiki. She goes, have you heard of Reiki? I was like, no, what is it? And she was like, let me show you. And now I'm one of these people that even if I don't understand something, I always believe that life is about experiencing. And I have a rule. So I'll experience anything as long as it doesn't get me landed in jail. And there's
I love these rules.
yeah, and it is, there's a, like, if it's an 80% chance it's going to kill me, I'm not going to do it. 79%, I'll give it a go. But if it's 80% chance it's going to kill me, I'm not going to do it.
That doesn't rule out a lot. So I like this.
So I've done,
You're going to live life.
I have lived a very colourful life, let me just tell you. So this is why I think a lot of people can relate to me, because I have had a lot of experiences with lots of things. And so, yeah, I was like, yeah, let's go. I was like, it's not going to do any harm. I'm open to it.
Yeah.
I was a bit sceptical because I was like, oh, I don't really understand it. And I was very much in my sciencey mind. But she gave me a Reiki treatment. And I remember, and I like to say this as well, at the time I was 30. Yes, I'd been divorced for like 2 years, but I was really happy. Like I wasn't yearning to fix anything in my life. I was living my best life single in New York. I was just like, yeah, this is so much fun. So there wasn't anything wrong with me.
Yeah.
But I was like, let's have a go. And that experience changed my life because I actually felt and saw energy leaving my chest. And she wasn't even touching me. And then I was like, afterwards, I felt lighter. And she said, oh, you'd been carrying a lot of heaviness. And you'd caged off your heart after your divorce. But I was like, but I'd gone to therapy. I thought I'd dealt with it. She was like, no, your body held it as a memory. And I was like, oh my God, my body had just become used to holding this energy. And this is why I say to a lot of my clients, it's like, and a lot of people who don't understand, like, you don't know what you're carrying.
Yeah.
We switch off a lot consciously because we don't want to deal with it because it's
Yeah.
like, I don't have time for this, I can't do it. But your body holds everything. And then it's a bit like chronic pain. Your body just becomes used to the pain. So my
Yeah.
body had just become used to that heaviness in my chest and that heart. And then when she did one session, I was like, oh my God, I feel lighter. And that's what I get a lot of feedback from clients is, I don't know what you've done, Lakhmi, but I feel lighter inside. And I'm like, yeah, because I've lifted a lot of that heaviness that you didn't even know you had. And this is why I like say to people, just try it. Just try some form of energy healing.
Yeah.
Because and try different ones. I always say to people, don't just come to me. Go and try stuff out. Have one session because you don't know what's gonna like resonate with
So,
you.
you know how you were kind of introduced naturally to it there. So obviously your auntie's got like a psychic gift as
She
well and
has, yeah.
saw that you were carrying. So, and she saw that you were gifted and put you in that room on purpose. I love this woman already.
Yeah.
So, what would you say to someone? Because half the world and half the, well, not even half, probably more than that. I'd say there's only 1% that are awake and spiritually evolved. But most people are walking around disconnected. And I was one of those people, even with my abilities. Like not that long ago, probably about 15 years ago, I was walking around completely switched off. It was only when somebody asked me, a really good friend who specialised in manifesting, and I didn't even know what manifesting was. She said, "What do you desire?" And I went, "What?" And I couldn't list one thing. And I said, I don't know. I've got everything I want. And she's like, no one's got everything what they want. What do you really desire? What makes you happy? And I was like, I don't know, just in the everyday life. And to be honest, what made me happy was not having spirit every 5 minutes there,
Oh my
because
gosh.
obviously I'd had all those really dark experiences. I got my children, I got my husband, and I was like, well, I don't really know. Like, I'm just happy. But really, yes, I was happy and very grateful for my family, but I was incredibly disconnected, switched off to the maximum. It was only when I opened up properly that I realized I was like, oh my God, like I appreciate this. I love that. And I almost went on this path of self-discovery. But I would have, if you'd have said to me back then, do you want to come for Reiki? I'd have gone, no, I don't really need it. Like there was nothing I ever thought would need healing. But obviously there was so much there, trauma about, you remember how I teach about spiritual coding?
Yeah.
There's so much trauma attached to spirit connection, and there was loads there, like loads that needed to be moved and needed to be worked on. But like you said, you carry it and you don't realize. So what would you say to the 99% of the population, and probably some of them listening to this and stumbled across it and thinking, what am I actually listening to here? What would you say to them about, like, when would their signs be to go for Reiki? Like, why?
I mean, I would just say your sign is right now if you're listening to this. But like I find it really difficult for people that when I hear people saying, "Oh, nah, it's not for me." I'm like, how do you know? How do you know it if you haven't tried it?
But do you reckon that's fear?
Yeah,
Because the
100%.
like the body almost, have you ever seen those people that just hold back grief for so long?
Yeah,
And they're like, I can't face it. I can't face it because I
yeah,
might never stop. I
yeah,
might never stop crying, or I can't crumble because I've got a family to look after, or
yeah.
I can't just fall apart. Life goes on. So eventually, what happens if they don't face their pain?
It manifests as physical illness.
Thank you. I agree.
It does.
And what would that be different for everybody, or?
It depends on what you have been blocking. It really does.
Mm,
Cancer is a manifestation of people not facing their fears and traumas and pushing it back because the
yeah.
body then has to hold that, internalize it, and that's when mutant cells
I was going
like
to say it's a cell formation, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
and every single
Mm,
physical pain, illness is a
mm,
sign, is a lesson. There's so many layers to it. So it's not just the
mm.
physical pain. And I say this to people is like the way you can think about it is your body is we're all healers.
Yeah.
You're a healer, I'm a healer. Everyone,
Mm-hmm.
every single person on this planet is a healer because your body heals. When we
Yeah.
get a cut, You don't just sit, if it's like it's a paper cut, if it's nothing too deep and it doesn't get infected, maybe put a bit of Savlon on and a plaster, that's it. But you don't sit there every single day looking at it thinking, oh my God, is it going to heal? Is it going to heal? What can I do? Your body already knows. It's already sending us white blood cells, everything that it needs to fight that infection, get all the stuff off, and then your skin starts regrowing.
Yeah, it does.
Very rarely do you need to then get intervention. Even when you go into the hospital, the doctors are not the healers. They're just giving the tools for your body to heal itself again. It just needs a bit of help.
And if you speak to doctors, most doctors, because I've been hospital numerous times with all the kids and myself and in and out with various other things, and they often say, make sure you get fresh air. You'll heal better at home in your own environment. Make sure you go for nice walks when you can. Make sure you eat well and make sure you give yourself lots of rest, but talk positively to yourself. And I've only noticed it more now when they talk. And I'm like, so I said, do you believe that we can heal ourselves? And they're like, medicine can only do so much. And they actually say that. Medicine can only do so much.
I'm so glad they're saying that now. And I think
quite a lot of them.
Yeah, it's because since COVID, I think the whole world has realised how powerful our minds are.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
And I say this to everyone, your mind is the most powerful thing on this planet.
Yeah.
I've had numerous experiences in my family, with family members, and even with myself, where it's life or death.
Yeah.
And it's your mind that brings you through. Like I ended up getting, I didn't know it at the time, but I had sepsis. I was this close to dying, but I didn't know because I just thought I had a cold. And I was just like, oh, I just feel a little bit ill.
Was this when you had your kidney infection?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but in my head, I was like, I feel ill. But I was on holiday, my first holiday with my ex. We'd gone on a road trip and I ended up getting a little bit fluey. I got TMI, but I got a UTI. And then, because we were on the road a lot and then we'd been drinking and there's not always a toilet. So I had to hold it quite a lot. So that actually got infected. It ended up in my kidneys, but I got kidney pain, but it was the same day that we'd just climbed down from a mountain. So I thought I'd like pulled something on the way down.
Well, naturally you would, yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't put two and two together. And then a few days later, I just started getting really shivery and I thought, oh my God, I'm getting a cold or a flu. Then we had to cut our holiday short because my ex was like, you don't look well, I'm going to take you home. So I'm just like, oh no, I've just like ruined our first ever holiday.
You want so bad to be well, don't you? Yeah.
And the funny thing is, as soon as we got into the UK and he took me to the first hospital, I sat there in A&E and you're waiting to go in. And I just thought, I started feeling a bit better. And I was like, oh my God, I hope I'm bloody ill because if I've dragged him all the way and they're just like, oh, you've got a flu. I was like, that is so bad, isn't it? I was like, oh my God, he's going to think I'm such a drama queen. And I went in, they do your vitals and they were like, are you feeling okay? And I'm like, yeah. I was like, I'm obviously ill, but I feel all right. They had to do my blood test 4 times because they could not believe that the level of infection in my blood, that how I was still standing. They were like, with all due respect, you should be dead. We don't understand how you're alive.
Oh my God.
But you shouldn't be alive right now. Like, how are you still standing and still functioning? I was like, I don't know. They were like, you've got sepsis. Had you come in like 20 minutes later, you would have died. And I was like, and then in my head, because I just thought I was like, oh yeah, I've just got a cold. Then it hit me. Then I could feel everything, the pain. I was just like, oh my God, I'm really ill.
So that shows the mind then. So you realised then you were obviously unwell and then you surrendered to it.
Yeah.
So do you feel though, oh, actually, I'll ask you this in a minute because I'll come back to that. But basically, I've had sepsis and this leads me on to my next question with this. And I didn't feel ill. So I had 3 children. It was when I just had my youngest. And so we'd been like to the park the day before. We'd had a picnic and everything. And I was a new mom to obviously a 3rd baby. I was breastfeeding, so I was up all night. And then in the night, I was fine all day, walked miles, and she was 5 days old. And I remember going to bed and thinking, oh, what a lovely day. But I felt a bit fatigued, nothing major. Then I woke up in the night and I was shaking all over. Like my whole body was convulsing and I couldn't even open the paracetamol because my head was killing. You know, when you can't even hold. Have you ever been like that? I was like, my teeth were dithering. I was like, I woke my husband up and it was August and we were having a heat wave. And he was just looking at me and I said, I really don't feel very well. And he said, oh, you're fine. Because obviously I just had a baby. You're not going to feel great. And he's like, you're fine. Just go back to sleep. Take some paracetamol. I went, can you open them? I can't open them. And he was like in the middle of the night. So he just popped the lid off and didn't think anything of it. Took them. I went back to sleep. When I woke up in the morning, I looked like some kind of drug addict. I was literally dripping in sweat. But again, I felt fine. I'd done the baby's bottles. I'd done breakfast, and it wasn't until my parents came round to help to see the babies. They said, what on earth is wrong with you? And I said, well, I'm a mum of 3. And they're like, no, that's not normal. And yeah, I was the same as you, severe sepsis. I
Oh
didn't
my
leave the hospital for like a
God.
week.
Yeah, I was in the Raw
Yeah.
Free for 10 days. It was, well, the first hospital that they took me to, which was the first one after the Channel Tunnel, they put me in the bed, and I'm like thinking, oh, I'm all right. They were like, no, you're gonna have to stay here for a couple of days. And honestly, Katie, I was like, I'm not staying here. I was like, I can't, because like my ex was like, where are we gonna stay? We're in the middle of like nowhere. We have no family here. So then we had to sign they didn't have any ambulances to take me back to London. So he had to sign a waiver that he said, I've got to take her straight to the hospital, not allowed to make any stops. You have to go straight there. And
He was really frightened
he
as
was
well.
shitting himself.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm allowed to say that. He
Yeah,
was
you are.
crapping himself. And once I got into the War Free, that's when it really hit me. Because I said to him, I said, if I'm dying, if I'm going to die, I ain't dying here. I said, I'm sorry, I'm not dying here.
It's terrifying, isn't it? Because they put you on all these drips and they put you in isolation, and you're just literally just staring at walls going, what is actually wrong with me?
I was like, if it's my time,
Yeah.
I'd rather just die at least around like family or something. I was like, I'm not here. Like, this is not it.
So did you think you were going to die?
I've had so many near-death experiences. It's crazy.
This means my next question is going to be brilliant. So before you tell us about your NDAs, because I've had a fair few, do you feel, this came up with one of my clients the other day, we were talking about like death and experiences and being psychic and all that kind of stuff. And he said to me, he said, do you think because psychics are so pure and because you work with the purity of light, do you feel that that is negative energy coming to stop you, like shedding your light in the world? But I kind of do and I don't on this. And I don't want to scare anyone that works in this world, because when I had those experiences, I wasn't a practicing medium. I was actually obviously able to read, but I do it ad hoc. So I'd done readings through that pregnancy, but not really actively trying to make a big change in the world like I am now. And were you at those times like healing people? Were you sharing? And do you agree with that?
That's so interesting. I definitely, and I don't want to scare anyone, and I'd rather you guys hear it here, because this happened to me with, even when I started back into the spirituality, I started getting the sleep paralysis stuff
Yeah, I
again.
used to get that.
And then I was doing a lot more research into it. And I do fully think sometimes that these negative energies that come to sort of scare you off the path, saying, oh, don't do this because it's not safe. It is safe as long as you do your protection. And I know you're very big on energy protection.
Very big.
So am I.
Yeah.
Even with my like clients who are not technically not necessarily spiritual, because I work a lot with companies now, as you know, and I love a skeptic. Like, bring me a skeptic any day, because I used to be one. But I tone it down. I tone the spiritual stuff down for them, obviously, just to like sort of ease them into things. But even I teach them energy protection, even though without being it spiritual. I says, oh, when you're talking to clients, you get clients that drain you, so just make sure you put like a little wall in front of you or a bubble or something. But yeah, going back to the sleep paralysis stuff, I was getting so many when I got back on this path, and then I realised, oh, they're just here to try and scare me off, and now I know how to protect myself. I'm like, I just like, nothing can touch me now. I'm like, come and bring it, and let me show you what light I've got. Like, let's go. You know what I mean? You can take the girl out of Handsworth, but you can't take the Handsworth out of the girl. But yeah, so I would say, look, to anyone who experiences stuff like that, seek some help. Make sure you're protecting yourself properly. Don't be frightened, because the world needs more light workers.
Oh, it does, definitely.
We need more people to find their light. We all have the light within us. All of us do, in our own special way. You don't have to be a fully fledged psychic or a healer.
Yeah.
People like hairdressers, therapists, anybody who's working with people, you're you're sharing your light.
Of course they are. They're
You're
doing,
sh-
everyone's doing good in the world. And like I say
yeah.
to people, like you're in spirit school. So in my spirit school, I teach you energy protection, don't I? And I
Yeah.
go on and on and on about it to the point where you're all a little bit like, can we get to the good bit now and start
Mm.
connecting? But it's so important and it's so valuable to so many people because there's so many natural empaths and so many people getting drained from everyday life. And like just driving to work and being stuck in traffic drains you, doesn't it? So
Yeah.
if you protect your energy, not everything has to drain you like that, and understand you and your limits and your boundaries. But yeah, it's so important because I think when people go on a spiritual journey, they think if they're healers or psychics, well, I've got to go out there and serve the world. But honestly, if you serve just two people, or if you're just kind in the day to two people, like it will change their lives. There's a lady I used to work with, and she said to me once that she was being bullied at school, like really badly, racist
Oh my
bullying,
gosh.
awful, I know. And somebody walked up to her at the bus stop and said to her, "You are a beautiful young girl. I don't know why I need to tell you that, but I do." An older lady. And she said that woman will never know. In that moment, she would have just thought, "Oh, I just think that girl needs a compliment," or "I think the divine channeled her
Yeah.
and sent it." But she didn't realise, like I said to a woman yesterday, "I think you're beautiful, like you've got a lovely, beautiful face," and genuinely meant it. And people don't realise necessarily how one comment like that you don't even have to be a psychic for, can actually change and heal somebody who may have felt really insecure, may have been the first time they've ever walked out of their house that day for, you don't know what's going on.
Mm.
And so I think everyone can do that. And this is why when you created, which I'm going to lead into in a
Yeah.
minute, the 111 movement, and we will explain, guys, we'll explain what that is. That's why you're teaching people like one moment, one comment, even
Yeah.
1 minute, just take a moment to do something in the world because it all adds up and it all matters.
So I love that. And like, you know what that's called, what you just described? It's called being kind.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be a healer or spiritual or anything to be kind.
No.
That's it. It's all it is just be kind.
And you never know when people need it.
And be kind to yourself as well, because a lot of times, and I don't know where I heard this, but it was just recent, and it was like, if every single person in the world helped themselves, guess what? Everyone in the world would be helped.
Yeah. Oh, it's
You
true.
don't even have to go and like serve the masses. If you just serve yourself, and then, like you said, maybe one or two people in your family,
Yeah.
just be kind, caring, and be compassionate. Then literally every single person on this planet will be healed and
Yeah.
loved.
Absolutely. We all do our part.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't need to be just the leaders and just the people who are here, like announcing it, making it their full time life. It can be every single one of us. We all matter.
I think especially nowadays, I think with like the access to information that we do have a lot of pressure on us to, if you're doing something, it's got to be the best, and you've got to help, you've got to have this many followers, and you've got to make it a success, and it's got to be worldwide, global platform, all this stuff. That's so much pressure. That's so much pressure. It doesn't have to be that.
Do
Your
you
world
know,
is your world.
you're totally right. And I was listening to another podcast about that. And it's so interesting because we do almost, social media can be amazing.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have reached, I wouldn't have met you and things like that if it wasn't for social media. But I do think a lot of it is people looking for validation. And I've been one of them myself. Like I
Same.
literally moaned to my dad about 5 hours earlier today, saying, he said, "How's your podcast going?" Because I told him I'm coming to film. And I said, I've only got 3.7 thousand followers on YouTube.
What? That's
And
amazing.
he said that. And I went, yeah, but that's not good enough. And then I was like, I stopped myself and thought, what is wrong with me? Like, you can't think like that. You're here doing your part. And my dad said to me, he's like, well, are you happy with the content going out? And I said, very happy. And he went, well, there you go then.
You know
And
what? I love that you brought that to the forefront, because I think because we're behind screens and it's just a number on a screen,
yeah,
3,000 followers, 10,000 followers, 3.7 followers, 3.7 thousand followers. If anybody is struggling with this, get pieces of paper, yeah, or something, and just count how many of that, even 100, if you've got 100 followers,
yeah,
just put 100 pieces of little paper or whatever, coins, whatever you've got, and look at how many people you are looking at you. That is a lot of people. We think, 100 followers is
Yeah.
nothing. It's 100 people.
It matters, doesn't it? It's really
Yeah.
important. And I'm glad you said that, because I took my youngest to Wireless, Wireless Festival.
Yeah.
And I didn't stay. I just dropped her in, made sure she was okay, knew where the first aid tent was and the toilets, and then kind
I
of
did see
walked
your
out.
thing on that as
Did
well.
you
You're like, I've
see?
lost my daughter.
I
or
went
something.
in, dropped her off and ran,
Yeah.
ran through the exit, and then picked her up at the end.
Yeah.
But basically, I looked around and it said, and the guy, when I was like leaving, he was speaking to me and saying, "Why are you leaving? You've only just arrived." And I
Yeah.
was trying to explain. And then he said, "Oh, there's about 250,000 people here today," or something really crazy. And I was like, "Oh
Wow.
my God." Or they'd had that many over the weekend. I can't remember exactly. And I remember thinking, I've got that many TikTok followers. And I was looking at
Wow.
the actual like venue, and I turned around and I did have a moment then.
Mm.
And I was like, wow, that's a bit weird. That
Yeah.
is, you just don't realize, do you? You just don't think, but it's always validation. Whereas when you stop thinking about the validation, I stopped doing that a while ago now. I stopped creating to kind of get a like.
Yeah,
And I
same.
realized I was doing it. And I think me and you had this conversation, didn't we?
Because I do my lives and I was only getting I still only get a handful of people on my lives. Like I have not as many followers as you, but I have like 3,000 followers or something on Instagram, and I do my free meditations every day, but I only get about 6 or 7 people coming live. And I remember talking to you about it because I'd finished the year and I was like, that's it, I'm not doing it
I
anymore.
remember this.
But so many people started messaging me, please don't stop it. We watch it on a replay, or I watch it with my kids.
Yeah.
I've got clients all over the world. They watch it in different time zones. So even though you're only getting 7 people on your live, you don't know who's watching behind the scenes.
You really don't know who's watching. And some of my like amazing transformational clients that have gone on to do amazing things in the world followed me for 3 years, didn't like anything, didn't comment, didn't send me an email, nothing. And then all of a sudden they just went, "I've been following you for years." And I'm like, "I've never seen you once." And they're like, "Yeah, I was watching from behind the scenes." So you just never know.
Yeah.
But coming on to your live, so you go live every evening.
Yeah.
Tell us why, because it's actually really special, and I want you to share the story as well.
Okay, so I found out a few years ago. I was on an angelic Reiki professional continuous development workshop, and one of the angelic Reiki masters was telling us about the silent minute movement. She was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to do a trip to Glastonbury and we're going to go to the Peace Gardens." And I was like, "Oh, that sounds cool." And she goes, "Yeah, we're going to do the silent minute
Yeah.
where it originated." I was like, "What is this silent minute?" And she told me about it. And apparently in 1942, when World War II was going on, in the Peace Gardens in Glastonbury, a man named Wellesley Tudor Pole decided to start just meditating for 1 minute and getting as many people as he could to just send positive energy or peace to the world to stop the war. So they started doing it, I think, at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And they got lots of people doing it. It gained traction, and it even got Winston Churchill involved. The Big Ben would chime at 9 o'clock every evening, and it would go out to all the radio stations around the UK, and they would all just, it's a bit like on November 11th, you do like 2 minute silence.
The silence.
So it was kind of like that, but it was for sending out peace and love to the world. And then the Americans got involved as well, and it just became this thing, and they just did it every day. Big Ben would chime, and then, like, I don't know if I want to say, I think people should go and read it. There is a link on my bio for the Wikipedia page, but long story short, when the war ended in 1945, and then they interview some of the soldiers, right, to like see what happened. So they asked them, like, why did you think you lost the war? And some of the soldiers said, well, you had a secret weapon, and it was something to do with Big Ben, but we couldn't. There was no force that could counteract it. We don't know what you had a secret weapon.
The power of collective energy.
Collective mass energy. When I found that, I was like, I got chills. I was like,
I've got chills now. Yeah.
Why aren't we doing it now?
Yeah.
Why don't we get taught this in history class?
Yeah.
Especially in England. If it originated here in England, why are we not taught this? Why is this spiritual part of the history is not in the books? Is not taught? And I went on, I mean, I got this again, the goosebumps of channeling, and I need to start it again. I need to do it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I
Do you
do
remember
it.
the grass when we were outside on
Yeah,
the grass?
yeah,
And you told me this story, and we were, by the way, just to explain what we were doing, we were at a retreat again,
yeah,
we're on another one, and we were sat on the front lawn, and you told me this, and then you said, imagine if I could heal the world in 1 minute.
yeah,
And I said, well, do it. Why can't you? And you're like, I'm going to do it 1 minute every day. I'm going to lead by example. And we
yeah,
snowball from there. And I won't spoil it because everyone who wants to know more and how it actually works and how it can work for them, they can reach out to you. And we will, by the way, everyone, put Lakhmi's details all underneath, whether you're watching on YouTube, Spotify, or on Apple. It'll all be there. So go follow her, drop her a DM, and she'll happily respond to you and let you
yeah.
know. So that is amazing how most people say, oh, I've got no time, I can't do things. But 1 minute is literally 60 seconds.
And I have to give credit to you, Katie, because on that one day retreat, and I'll be honest, I first thought, well, what can we get done in a day? Like legit, I was on, what can we get done in a day? And
24 hours, Lakhmi.
holy crap, the 1 minute here is eating her words now, because that 24 hours birthed the 111 approach. And I remember distinctly after we had that
Yeah,
like little download on the grass, because
on
you
the
were pushing
grass.
me, you were like, no, no, because I was like, I really wanted to do that angelic Reiki. I'm like,
Yeah,
I want to show it's different, because the type of Reiki now I do is 7 different styles of Reiki.
yeah,
It's not just the Usui and the angelic, it's quantum Reiki, it's color healing, it's all this stuff. But you just kept pushing me, like, no, I don't see this for you. And I'm like, what else can I do? And she was like, then I told you about this. I was like,
yeah.
but the thing is, I don't have time. I don't have time. I'm doing 2 jobs essentially at the time I was. Now I do this full time. But you kept pushing me. And then when I told you this, and you were like, this is it. You were like, 1 minute. And I remember then going back into my room, and we were going to go and meet for dinner.
Mm,
And I was in the shower, and I was like, and all of it started coming. And I'm like, yeah, like I
mm,
can do. And in my head, I was like,
yeah.
but me, can I do this? And I just kept hearing, if not you, then who?
Who?
If
Yeah,
you don't do it, then who's going to do it?
yeah.
And I was just like, oh my God, yeah, yeah, actually, yeah, who else is going to do it?
Mm.
I'm going to do it. And I just did it as a challenge. I'll be very honest. I started doing the 1 minute lives um, as a commitment challenge to myself, because I was just
You
like,
did, you were for like accountability, wasn't it?
yeah, I
Because
was
you were
like,
like, I'm going to do it anyway, so I might as well just stay accountable and go live.
I did it for a week. I was like, let
Mm.
me just see if I can do it. Then I was like, everyone was like, I was like, oh, it's a week's done now. They were like, no, 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 can we do it for longer? And I remember actually the first week I did it, for the first 3 days, I was so ill. I was so ill, and I was doing it with my glasses on in bed with another pair of sunglasses on, because back then I was so like, I don't want to be on screen with my glasses. So I put another pair of big sunglasses on over my glasses, and I was in bed doing it for the first 2 to 3 days. So then I felt like I hadn't given the first
Mm.
week proper. So I was
Yeah.
like, right, I'll do it for a month. Then personally for me, I was like, right, I'm going to see if I can do it for a year just for myself.
Mm.
So I did it after the year. But then, like I said, after the year, like I wasn't getting much views, and I'm like, am I just doing it? But actually that became a brand. That became
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, you're the 1 minute healer.
Yeah, that's who you were.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then from there, hang on, I have to rewind because I've got to tell the people about that hotel. So let me just
Oh
recap.
yeah.
So, firstly, how we met. So, we met at a psychic tea party. I was asked to go along to these to a beautiful little cafe in Birmingham, and I love the ladies that run it. They're amazing. You were good friends with them as well.
Actually, no. The funny
You
thing is,
weren't.
no. And this is why how the
I think you were
universe
talking
aligns.
to them. Yeah,
How the universe aligns. Oh, actually, no. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, my bad. My bad. They
because
were,
they.
yeah. I'd
Yeah,
known them because they did the cake for my brother's 30th,
yeah.
who were recommended by our caterers that we use for all of our events,
Mm,
and they said, "Oh, I recommend." These girls, they do cakes, so we did it without even tasting it. We were like, we trust you, we'll do it.
mm,
And then I was tagging them in a post about it, and then I saw on their website that they had a psychic tea. And bear in mind, listeners or viewers, back then, although I had an interest in like
you were still
psychic
fearful.
stuff,
Yeah.
I was like, but then I saw psychic afternoon tea, and I thought, you know what? I didn't realize I had a cafe. I thought they were just like they do
it
it
was
from home.
tiny, wasn't it? Little tiny cafe.
Yeah, but I was like, oh, I might as well go and see their
Yeah.
cafe. And because the girl likes a cake. And I was like, oh, this is psychic tea. I literally it was just so spur of the moment. It was like on the day, I think, I like booked and I was like, right, I'm going. And that's where I met you. And I
Yeah.
was like, whoa.
It was so weird because I loved those little tea parties. So I've got to tell the story. Do you know how
Yay.
they even came about?
No?
So I was doing a charity live event, my first ever one, and I couldn't do it for myself. I couldn't deal with it because it was my first live event. So I was like, right, I'm going to do it for charity. I'm just going to give all the money to charity and I'm just going to feel better about it. Then the pressure was kind of off.
Yeah.
So it didn't feel right to take the income at that time. And we're going back 8 years. And my mum and dad, bless their souls, put posters all over Birmingham. So all over the train stations, everywhere. I mean, honestly, it could have gone the other way, could have been a bit dodgy, but they put them everywhere, like posters of me.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so all these people came, we filled the venue.
Yeah.
And I remember getting a phone call from this lady and she was so excited on the phone. And like my mum put my phone number on there and
Oh my
everything.
gosh.
I know. And I was like, oh my God.
GDPR,
I
Mrs.
know. It
Helliwell.
wouldn't been able to happen now. And so anyway, so this lady rang me and she said, I've seen your picture on the train. I've been on
Yeah.
the train. I've seen your picture. I said, oh my God, which train station? I thought, where's my mother put these now? She went, oh, just down in, she said, the town. And she says, and I've got to say, the universe has sent me to you. And I was like, okay. And I was like, well, I'm listening because, yeah, they do. And she said, will you come to my cafe and will you host like a psychic night? And I said, of course. I said, where is it and everything? And then I said, can we do afternoon tea? Because my favourite thing's afternoon tea. And she said, yeah, of course, that's even better, afternoon. Because I said, it's got to work for you as well.
Yeah.
She was like, I'll pay you, won't take any money. And I said, no, 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 that's not a fair exchange. You do the tea, make some money off the afternoon tea, and I'll just take a very small percentage. Again, I was giving it to charity. So we did, we went along, but the room's so small, if you
Yeah,
remember.
it was so
It
small.
was like fitted 11 people in,
Yeah.
angel numbers. And I remember sitting down and I remember what you had on. You had a coat on. You were really cold because of spirit. Because either when I'm open to spirit,
Yeah.
it goes really cold or it goes really hot.
wow.
And so you had like a poncho on and then a big scarf all wrapped around you. And you were sat like this.
Oh my gosh. I don't even
And
remember what I was wearing, but yeah,
yeah,
go
no, I
on.
remember. And I remember looking at you and you looked at me as if to say, don't pick me, but then pick me. And
I
I
really
could,
wanted you to pick me because I
but
really
then
wanted
you
to
were
see.
also going,
Yeah.
don't pick me. I could hear your mind.
I
And I
wanted to
was
see if my
like,
granddad would come through because he had just passed, but then I was like, I don't know if I want to hear from him.
that was it. Pick me, don't pick me. And you were literally giving off that aura, but you were like wrapped in a scarf. And like afterwards, we started talking and we stayed in touch. And you had a reading, a private one, and it went from there. And then you came on board with Spirit School, and then you did private with me, retreats. And then we went to that retreat, and the hotel was haunted.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
And when I say haunted, everyone, to the nth degree, like it was awful. And I was really worried about you coming because I didn't know whether to warn you about the haunted spirits because I knew that you'd shared you were scared.
Yeah.
And then do you remember you said, you phoned me up and said from the room, I can't sleep. It's really bad in here. And I was like, I know.
I
I'm so
think
sorry.
no, yeah, because I was like, the thing is, I don't see spirit, like, but I just feel weird. Like I just feel
You
it.
said someone's watching you. And I was
I
like, I
just felt I just
know.
felt weird. I just felt really
Yeah.
weird. And I think they don't show themselves to me in that form because I would freak out.
But they were really bad spirits in there. They were
Was
awful. One held me under the bath at one point. I didn't tell you
really?
this. Yeah. Held me under the bath. I was fuming. I got out of the bath. I was so angry. I put my dressing gown on, marched down to reception and said, what on earth is in that bedroom? Because there's somebody up there looking for a man called Peter. He was the reception man, do you remember?
Yeah, I do
And
remember that.
his face just went, I said, he's a priest and he's up there. And
Yeah,
he
the
went,
priest.
I'm Peter and I used to be a priest. And I said, well, Peter, could you go up and bless my room, please? Because I need to sleep. I've got my
Oh
client coming.
God. Yeah, because you came the
It
day
was,
before or something.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh my
And in the end,
gosh.
I thought he was going to faint because he went so pale. So we couldn't have the breakthrough in that room because we were doing it in the room. Do you remember when we were
Yeah.
having our sessions? And I think we were both getting blocked by the spirit. So that's why we went out onto the grass and I
Yeah.
kept probing you because I knew as soon as we went out into the air with the grass, you'd be okay.
Yeah.
But you were getting tired and you were resisting. And kept going, no, come on, come back to me,
Yeah.
come back to me. Don't let that spirit win. Don't let
Yeah.
that spirit block your light. But I couldn't tell you all of that at the time
Because I would have
because you would
really
have been really
scared.
scared.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
But you were saying, why are you so friendly with the reception man? Do you remember this?
No, I remember because he was beaming afterwards, wasn't he? After when we
Because we
left.
healed. Yeah.
And I can't believe it. Doesn't that scare you though?
No, I
Like,
was
oh my
fuming.
gosh.
Not scared, really mad, because like nothing has the right to do that.
Yeah,
Even if it was a human doing that, I would
no,
be
no.
really mad. So no, because I had years of being scared, and they're not going to do that to me in a luxury bath when I'm trying to relax for you. No, absolutely not.
It's funny now, like I get it now because before that would really scare me, but now because I know the tools to like protect my
Yeah.
energy, push my light out, and just the light will always win. This is again, I say to people and listeners as well: don't ever be scared because light will always triumph over dark. If you think about it,
Yep.
if you're in a dark room, look how much light a small candle, a tea light candle, can project.
Oh, I love that.
But when you're in a light, if there's so much light around you, and there's a candle of
Yeah.
darkness, like that's not going to black out as much as a light in a black room. Black.
And you
Do
can
you know what I
see,
mean?
you can see your light.
Yeah.
Like you literally radiate. You can literally see your light, and it's beautiful when you walk in a room. I remember us walking into the restaurant in Budapest, and everyone, I mean, you're gorgeous anyway, but it wasn't just your looks. Everyone was looking, and because you just
Yeah.
glided in, and you were like, just this ray of light walking. I just walked behind. I filmed you. I've got it on
I
camera.
know you did. I was
And
just like,
you just, I thought I've got to stop and film this, because you literally walked in with like just this light around. It was beautiful. It really was.
really.
And people were just smiling, and children were smiling, and everyone was smiling at you. And it's like, yeah, she radiates the light. I love
Oh.
it.
I remember you said that to me. I was like, I'm so oblivious because I'm just like,
You went, you
I'm in.
are.
Yeah, I was like, what? Really? I was like,
I think you thought I was a bit weird. You were like, okay, okay. I was like, I filmed you.
No, it was, yeah, that was really magical. That was, honestly.
It was amazing. So, since you've launched the 111
Yeah.
and you are going live 1 minute,
Mhm.
do you genuinely feel that everyone can heal themselves in a minute, or do you think people should go for Reiki sessions with like a trained therapist and
So
healer?
the 1 minute is just to get people understanding that you take your power back out
Yeah,
of the 24 hours of a day. Realistically, how much of that is yours?
yeah,
We give so much away to everything: your work, your phone, your family, your friends, your work, stresses, everything, even in your own mind. Most of us are constantly either thinking about what we're going to be doing next, myself included, and or thinking about the past.
yeah.
So that 1 minute is your kind of gateway drug to, I'm like the eco-friendly drug dealer here. It's like the gateway drug. If you can master
Yeah.
that 1 minute, and I will help you do that through the
Mm.
lives and with the work that I do, I help people train their brain to
Yeah.
get really super focused in that 1 minute. And then we add on to that. And then you're like, okay, I've got my power back. Because what I've also found, Katie, and I don't know if you get this as well with some of your clients, is they rely on you so much. And again, you're giving your power away. So I say to people, hey, I'm not your healer. I'm just your guide. I'm just your
Yeah.
mentor. Like, I'm just showing you like a few tricks on how to make things like applicable for you. Because we all have different, although we are the same
Yeah.
internally, we're all made up of the same things, but our experiences, our traumas, our environments are all very different. They could be similar, but they're all very different. So you've got to make it work for you. So that's what
Yeah.
I help them do. I was like, right, talk to me. Let's see what's going on. And let's see how we can make this work for you. And I just say, with the 1 minute, it's just a nice starting point. And I remember saying this to you on that retreat. And I said, I keep having this vision that I am that flyer girl or that shot girl who's standing outside those bars on that street, and I'm giving you a voucher for a free shot, and I'm like, hey, come into this spirituality bar. It's not that weird, I promise.
I love
There's
it.
science behind it, because there is science behind it, and this is where I love talking to like the corporates and stuff. Like Reiki's used in hospitals now, meditation, mindset, it's all good, and I just kind of drip feed them, and you get that free shot, and then they come into the bar, and I'm like, look at this beautiful world of spirituality. There's psychics, there's sound healers, there's breathwork, there's all these beautiful things that you can go to. But
Yeah.
I'm like that because I don't look and talk and act like a spiritual person. And so, and I think with the medical like stuff, the experience I've had, I can talk to people that are not necessarily always so spiritual, and because of the experiences I've had, I can also tell them, yeah, I was very skeptical about this, and I've had a rebellious streak, still kind of do, but
We always call you that, don't we? We always
yeah,
call you the
I'm the
little rebel.
rebel. I am the rebel, but you know, I'm here to show people that look, you just got to make it right for yourself. One size is not going to fit all, because look at
Absolutely.
us. No, even identical twins, there are still a few distinguishing marks that you can tell. No, there's no one on
They
this
have
planet.
different fingerprints.
Yeah,
Because everyone does, don't they? Everyone has a unique
yeah,
one.
we're
Yeah.
all unique, even identical twins.
Yeah.
Like, we're always, and then this is one reason as well why I wanted to bring about, like, because I have a podcast as well, but I don't do it visually, because I want people just to switch off some of their senses, because I want them to focus on the words. Because again, one thing about this whole mission, and I think when I think about it, it goes back to when I was a childhood with this spiritual master, was he was trying to get people to celebrate our similarities as humans. He would
Yeah.
always say, before you were born a Christian, a Muslim, a Jewish person, a Sikh person, you were born a human first, and then the label comes after. Your soul is not Christian. Your soul is not Muslim. Your soul is soul. It's spirit. It's a pure energy, and that energy doesn't have a label until you get born into a human body. So he was trying to get everyone to come together as one human race, and I was like, you know what? One of the reasons I wanted to do my podcast with no visuals was, I was a bit insecure about the cameras and stuff still. I don't
Oh, I
really,
was at
I
first. It's
don't,
really weird, isn't it?
I was
Because they
like,
are off-putting. There's so many lights in here, isn't there?
yeah,
And they're on you and you can't see yourself. And yeah.
exactly. It's a bit different to doing reels, because like you can see yourself and you can be like, oh, my hair's like a bit messed up, and you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
But then I was like, no, I didn't want that kind of headache. Um, and then also I was like, I don't want people to make an assumption straight away, because I get that a lot. People look at me and they just look, oh, she must be like this and she must be like that. And when they actually talk to me, I've got it so many times about, oh, I didn't think you'd be like this. Oh, I didn't know you were like that. And I was like, because you've just made an assumption by what I look like. And I was like,
Have you ever done that yourself with someone though?
yeah,
Because I have as
yeah,
well.
all
You
the
know, in
time.
like you've hired someone and then you go, oh, is it you?
Yeah.
Oh, hello. Because you've got this preconceived almost idea of stereotypical.
We all do it, and if we're
Yeah.
all honest with ourselves, we all do it, because it's just it's just like ingrained in us. But what I was trying to do now is like to strip that away a little bit, and just listen to that person's story and try and find the similarities versus the differences, because we do it. We're designed. Everything is designed for us to see what's different. And like I said, even in identical twins, what's the first thing you do? What's different? How do I
Yeah.
distinguish
How
them?
can you tell?
You're
Yeah.
still looking for differences in something that's apparently identical. And I was like, whoa, why
So,
don't we start looking at our
yeah.
similarities? What's the same?
So you're talking there about identity and how just because you've had a certain upbringing or just because that's what you've been exposed to doesn't mean that has to be your choice. You can choose to do different things and have different faiths and different beliefs
Yeah,
anytime, which I completely agree with you. And I think we've got free will.
yeah,
Like our free will is the most powerful thing. You know, someone comes to you for Reiki, but they decide they don't want to be healed for whatever reason, they've got the free will to block you, haven't they? They can, like the power of that can't be overridden.
yeah.
So you can decide to stay in the identity or you can decide to move. So I'm going to ask you this question now because this is the one that I actually keeps me up at night sometimes. And it really does bug me. And I don't think I've ever said this to you, but it's something I do worry about. And it's something I always think, how can I change?
Mhm.
And I'd like to hear your perspective on it. So if we know we can change our identity. Like I can decide I'm going to be just a mom and like a normal 9 to 5 job, or I can be a mom, a brilliant mom and a mentor to my girls, and I can be life changing in the world and help people spiritually. So that's an identity shift. You can choose which one you want. So why do you think most of the population don't? Why do you think they're reactive to their everyday life only?
Because I think it's what that's all they've ever known.
So how do you feel? because it's normally an awakening. So, you know how, can I go there about your father's death
Yeah.
and your passing? So, you know how you lost your lovely dad, and I'm trying to warm into this because I
Yeah.
know the emotion attached to it,
Yeah.
and I feel it, and he's a lovely soul. But that can, like these, like near-death experiences, losing someone you love so much, having almost like a breakdown over, say, monetary, going bankrupt, or losing your job that you thought was your security, they're all life-changing, like massive things that go on. And we all get hit with them in some way, shape, or form. There's no avoiding it. We've all got to face it at some
Yeah.
point. So what I want to know, why it takes something like that for someone to wake up.
Because
What's your thoughts?
we are so comfortable and we love comfort. Like, why? Like, we're sitting on these nice comfy sofas. Why would we go and sit on like the floor?
I love the floor, do
I
you?
know, I do. I don't know why I chose that example,
Yeah,
but most people like a
I
cold,
get you.
hard, okay,
Yeah.
like pebbly floor. Okay, this is nice and smooth, but say if it was pebbly
I get what
floor
you're saying.
with glass on there, right?
Yeah.
But that was actually going to be so powerful for you, and it was going to awaken all this beautiful
Mm,
stuff, but you can't see it because it's underneath. Why would we go and sit on it when we've grown up to these lovely, comfortable idea of this is security, this is
mm,
stability, but it's also society. You know, we've been brought up in that idea of like, you want security, you want something that's quite steady, that you know
mm,
that where your next paycheck's coming from, or you know that this is, you know, the person you've
mm,
been with like romantically for a while, and even though it's not great, like, I mean, you said this to me, I think,
mm.
with my ex, like, you know, I was like, but I should make it work
You were like,
because
I can make it
I
work.
think I can make it work and it's
Yeah.
fine. But it's like, but no, because it's the fear of the unknown.
Mm.
It's the fear of the unknown. And it's like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know where I'm going. What if it doesn't work out? Well, then you can just go back to your normal, but what you already knew.
So this is what I try and work out. So why would people be so, like, because you're not fully, like, this chair's a lovely chair,
Mm.
but it's not all that comfortable. So why would we not want to try the floor? Like, why would we not want to, I don't know, like, I
Because,
know the unknown sometimes can be scary, but I've seen people work in the same job for 30 years and get made redundant with hardly any payout and lose their pension, and kind of like, well, what was the point in that for the past, like, and there was this, let me tell you this. There was this stayed with me, and I was 21 at the time. I worked in the corporate world, and this guy had retired, and he was so excited. He was the loveliest man ever. He'd retired to go and travel the world with his wife. He was like early 60s, probably late 50s, very late 50s.
mm,
And his wife died the day after he retired,
no.
and he came back to work. So he literally said, I'd got the parts, they got the plan,
Oh
everything
my
ready to
gosh.
go. So they were secure. The house had been paid off, all of that kind of stuff. And I just remember thinking, why did you wait? And I was 21, and I looked at him and I was like, I didn't say it, but I was like,
Yeah.
why did you wait? And I remember looking, thinking, I will never do that.
Oh my
And
gosh.
you see what I mean? It's like,
I think because I mean, that's awful,
I
first and
know
foremost.
it's
Oh my
terrible. And he was such a
gosh.
lovely man. There was
Oh,
such a soul couple. Like, it was heartbreaking.
that's that I don't get sometimes. Like, I just don't get it.
Hmm.
Um, but I think, you know, our mind, our ego, I guess, is designed, it gets a bad rep, but it's designed to keep us safe.
Yeah.
So from a scientific point of view, and like caveman or cavewoman style, like that's inherently what we still are,
Mm,
because we need to, our body, again, like I said, it's designed to heal and it's designed
mm,
to survive. Like, that's what it's meant to do. And it will do whatever it takes to keep you in that
mm,
state. So, and your mind can only go back on the memories and the experiences that you've had. So,
mm.
like in layman's term, in this present moment, your ego mind
Yeah.
is telling us, well, I've kept you alive this far in this moment,
Mm,
so I'm going to just keep repeating the same patterns. Everything you've been doing so far in the 40 years of my life, this is what we're doing because this has kept you alive. it takes a lot for you to override that pattern, to be like, no,
Yeah.
but I want to do this. No, but you don't know what that's going to bring you, Lakhmi. Stay here. Keep doing what you're
Stay where
doing.
it's safe. Yeah.
Exactly, because that's what it's just, you can't be
Mm.
mad at it, because that's what it's designed to do. It's designed to keep you safe. It's designed to keep you alive. But you're right. Our free will overrides everything. But we have to train it. We have to be brave enough
Mm.
to make those choices and be like, no, this is it. This is what I want to do. But I guess our soul yearns
Yeah.
for what our true purpose is and what our true passion is. That's what our soul wants to do. Our
Mm.
soul wants to expand, and it's here in this body, and it's like, oh, get me out,
Mm.
because we're not this physical. We're like huge, we're universal,
Mm.
but our soul is essentially trapped in this physical body, and it's just like,
Mm.
why are we doing this? And you know what, I'll be honest, honestly, this last couple of months, I've been doing so much work on myself, and I've been tapping into so many different things. And I'm like, no wonder I don't want to do this stuff, because like my soul remembers times when I'm like, and essentially,
Mm.
it's like, look at me, why are you doing this? Because this is not for you. You're meant
Mm.
for bigger things. And then I'm like, well, bring them to me then, because where are they? Do you know what I mean? But you've got to do a balance. It can't be just sitting there like asking your guides and the universe and your angels to just put everything on a lap for you. You have to, there's a balance. You have to take
Mm.
some inspired action as
Of course
well,
you do, yeah. But
because
from a place of expansion, not
yeah,
scarcity.
yeah,
See, when you make a decision because you're scared, or you want to replace that regular income, or you want to do this and you want to make sure you're safe, it's not the same. When you do it from
yeah,
expansive energy, and what you've described there, I could literally summarize in one word, which is what you've got and what we've both got, is faith. We have the faith that we do a desire from expansive space, and we have the faith that it will materialize.
yeah.
We have the faith to keep going because we're very, very rooted to what we want to bring in this world.
Exactly. And I'll be very honest, there are times, even in this past year, last year before Christmas, I was this close to giving up. I was like, it's not come yet,
Why? What
because
led to that?
it just wasn't happening. And everything was a bit of a struggle. And I'm like, did I, did I like, did I make the right decision? Like, why isn't
Mm,
it coming yet? Why isn't it coming? Like, all of this abundance and like this mass, like,
impact.
impact I'm
Yeah.
supposed to have. And the thing is, I've been told from birth, like even before I was born, like this spiritual master like named me. He wrote a
Mm.
spiritual song for me before I was even born. So like, I think I spoke to you about this as well. I was like, I don't know if that's me putting that pressure on
I was
because
going to
of
say
that.
that's mega pressure, isn't it?
And then I'm like, but it's not happening. But then in part of me is
Mm.
like, well, I don't know. It was just really, I was going through a lot. And I was just like,
I
yeah.
believe you can heal the world. I believe you can change the world, and I know you can.
The thing is, you know what, I did honestly think that, but one thing that really shook me as well is something that someone very close to me said while we were going through like a turbulent time, and they turned around and said to me, they were like, "You're so naive that you think that you really think you could heal the world, that you could change the world, just you." And that took me back to that core memory of me being a
Yeah.
3-year-old saying, "I want peace on earth."
And they all mocked you.
Yeah, and then for a grown adult to say that to me, like a few years ago, that's what shattered me. I think that had such an impact on me. And I thought, yeah, of course, who the hell am I? Who do I think I can?
But why not you?
Well, if not me, who then? And that's
So
only
I've
now I'm
got a
remembering
counter
it.
argument for that person there. So if you look at Donald Trump, who has a major impact in the world in many ways, but
Please don't compare me to Donald
no,
Trump.
I'm not. Just giving you an example. He is one man. He is one man.
Yeah.
Yes, I know he has a team of supporters and he has a team of PR and whatnot behind him, but single him out, he's one man.
Mm,
And one man can have that much power and that much voice and that much impact. So you are one woman with an intention of purity and light.
mm.
The only difference between you and Donald Trump is he absolutely does not care, and he will go after what he wants without any worry about how he looks or how he's coming across.
And you know what?
That's the only difference.
When I hit level 40 this year, that's
Level 40.
level 40, babes.
Love it.
Level 40. We're leveling up. It just sounds cooler, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Instead of I'm 40. I'm level 40. Yeah.
I'm going to say I'm level 45.
Yeah, there you go.
Level
Honestly,
45.
it was a mindset shift. I was like, oh, I'm level 40 because I went through all the stuff about turning 40 and being where I'm at. But I tapped into that. And I think now, literally since February of this year, I've tapped into that. I don't give an F now.
Mm.
I'm on a mission. This is a girl on a mission. Hence the hat, hence the like. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to promote myself. I'm going to like love myself so much that no one can tell me anything. And if it comes off as arrogant, guess what? I don't care. I really don't
Do
care.
you know what? What really scares me? Do you know what my biggest fear is? I'll share it here with you now. My biggest fear is being really, really old if I'm privileged enough to get to that point and not have done everything I could to share the message. That terrifies me. Not the people calling me an AI robot on the
Yeah.
internet and being
Oh my
horrible.
God, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I've had
But
some stuff as well, but I'm just like,
but that's like all these things that are sent to stop you, all of these things that are kind of, all these people argue with you about their beliefs and what have you, and they're all entitled to their own. I think they've all got a role to play in this world as well, massive roles. But that terrifies me. Absolutely terrifies me to be that old person, even if I can't remember. You'll
yeah,
remember it in your soul.
yeah, your soul remembers.
But I just couldn't be that person.
And I think that's why, coming back to your question about why does it take such a tragedy for a
Mm,
lot of people to go and
awaken.
question and themselves and their purpose and then awaken themselves, because that's what is needed, because otherwise we're just robots. Forget AI coming in. We've been the robots for so long because
I
we've just been
know.
like monotonous on this treadmill, getting told what to do by society and stuff and not questioning. It was only during lockdown where people started thinking, hang on a minute, what are they telling us?
Mm,
Why are they saying this? And then some facts didn't add up. And thankfully, for the power of social media now, people are like, I mean, it can be a dangerous place because there's a lot of false news out there as well,
mm.
and a lot of scams, which is why I've shared this with you as well. And finally, I'm able to share it with people is that I got scammed, not
Oh,
once,
yeah, I remember
twice,
this. You were
for a
really scared to
lot
come
of
and
money.
work with me.
That's what prevented
Yeah.
me. You told me
Mm.
the year my dad passed that you said that come and work with me. You can give up your
Yeah.
medical job, just, and I said to you, I said,
Because I could see
Katie, I
your light.
just, right
Mm.
now, I can't. I want to. And in my soul was saying, yes, just do it, just do it.
You were
But the
terrified.
logical part of me is like, I've had two people tell me
Mm.
that they're seen stuff in me and I'll help you connect with your dad and all this stuff, work with me one on one. And I did it twice, and literally all my savings were gone, all of them.
Yeah.
And I'm talking an eye-watering amount of money, eye-watering amount of money.
And they didn't even do it. They didn't even meet you, did they?
F all. The second one was like
Oh.
nothing. I was
Oh.
like, and because I don't know, it was horrible. But now I'm also passionate about telling people, please, just just check in. Check if you need me to check
Yeah.
them. I'll just slide into my DMs. I'll vet them
Check them
for you.
out. Check them out for
I'll check
you.
them out for you. I wish somebody had done that for me. But I was in a vulnerable state, and also that really knocked my confidence because I was like, I'm an energy healer. I'm supposed to be like, I
But you were
can sniff out a
grieving at the same
thing, but I
time.
was so
Yeah.
deep in my grief.
Switch off with grief.
I was
Mm.
desperate to just understand why that happened to my
Yeah.
dad. I was like, he's the only one in my whole family, on my mom's side and my dad's side, that we weren't even worried about. We were like, you don't need to shield, dad. You're cool. Everyone, and this still to this day, people are still shocked that he's not here. Like, we still get customers coming into our family business. They're like, "Where's Harji?" And they're like, "Did you not know?" And they're just like,
Oh.
"What?" But yeah, that's just
So can I ask you, how did the losing, like the passing of your dad and losing that person that was your person, how did that strengthen your connection? Or did you find, because I've had some clients that have had experience similar to you and they've gone, I'm angry at God, I'm
oh
angry at
yeah,
the world,
yeah.
I'm angry at spirit, why would they take them? And I know that's one of the stages of grief, but how do you feel it either served you or how did you feel you handled the emotions?
I
I don't mean to be rude, by the way, when I
no,
said served you, because I
no.
believe that everything like that serves you somehow.
I'm still trying to get to that point
Yeah, I'm
of like,
sorry. Is
what? No,
that
it's all
came that
right, but it's
disrespectful?
good. No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's because I know there's a reason why people say it,
Mm.
and you know they say everything that happens to you happens for a reason.
Yeah.
I'm very honest. Like 5 years on, I'm still kind of searching for that reason. I'm nearly there. I don't know if I'm fully there yet, but
Mm.
I went through everything. And the thing is, and I have no problem saying this as well, like my relationship with my dad was really good, but then I had a bit of a period in my 20s where we did talk for a while because
Mm.
things were happening at home and it was just not great. But then just before I got married and moved to America was when we started mending our relationship. And then after my divorce, I came back to England and like we had both changed and like we were just getting like we'd started like vibing and having
Mm.
fun and joking, and we both saw a new side of each other. He had chilled
Yeah.
out a bit and he kind of saw me for who I was as well. And that's why when he got taken, I was so angry.
Mm.
I was so angry. And I was angry at a few different people because, you know, I kept hearing, oh, he's going to be fine. He's so young.
Mm.
He's going to be fine. He's got no ailments. And I was just like, I was fed all of this stuff by people. And it's not their fault because obviously you do
Mm.
think, oh, well, your dad's quite young. Like, you know,
Yeah, it'd
he's
be
going to be
fine.
fine. But I think for me, it was like, it was just like a kick in the heart because I was like, I've just finally got to a good place with my dad as well. And like, I felt angry at myself for not for those like few years, like 2 years or something. I didn't really talk to him, or I wasn't a very good relationship with him. I was like, oh my gosh, I was beating myself up as well. I was angry at myself. It was just awful. But the thing is, I was very open with my grief,
Yeah.
especially on my socials. But then that made apparently people feel uncomfortable, according to
We
like
can't
people.
win, can we?
Yeah, I'm
We
like,
really
I'm trying
can't
to
win.
grieve, and then I'm also supposed to
Yeah.
now handle how you feel when
Yeah.
I'm trying to like. For me, I just don't like to gatekeep, right?
Mm.
So even when I got married, I remember walking into the hall, my heart was going boom, 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 boom,
Mm.
boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, why did no one tell me this? That I could actually literally hear my heart before I started walking in. And then afterwards, when I got married, I was telling my cousins, I was like, oh God, like this happened to my heart. Is that normal? They were like, yeah, that happens. I was like, why did no one tell me this? Like, this is one of the stuff that you need to hear.
Mm.
And then also when like,
I don't remember mine doing that.
oh, I don't know, some people like, I mean, I'm divorced now, so maybe this was a sign. So, but then I remember like, you know, I've had like, my sisters had kids and like she I saw the ins and
Mm.
outs of that firsthand, but also my friends as well, they would share quite graphic details and I'm like, good, tell me
People love
everything.
to tell you about their birthing
Honestly, I was
stories.
like, tell me everything because I want to be prepared because I
Yeah.
don't want to be like, what the hell's going on? So when I was going through my grief, again, not everyone talks about it because it's such a taboo
Mm.
topic, grief, death. I was like, why am I having these dark thoughts?
Mm.
Like, why am I waking up every day and being like, shit, I'm awake? And I was like, oh, I don't want to be awake. I don't want to be awake. And it was awful, like really
Oh.
awful. Like I remember I'd get up and I'd be like,
Yeah.
shit, I'm a bloody awake. I was like, shit, I'm awake. I really was so angry that I was awake. I was like, I just don't want to be here.
Oh,
And
that's
like
awful.
nobody talks about that.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about the dark thoughts that you have. And I was very vocal about it. As much as it made other people feel uncomfortable,
Mm.
there were so many people that told me, oh my gosh, thank you. Because I thought I was the only one. And then when my cousin, who you also know,
Mm.
when she lost both of her parents within 4 months of each other, and I told her, I says,
Be
don't be
prepared.
scared. This is what you're gonna. And then she was like, yeah, she goes, honestly, it's really messed up, isn't it? I was like, yeah, but don't worry. I
Oh.
was like, you need to process it.
Yeah.
You need to let that energy out. You need to let the emotion out. And
Mm.
this is going back to the energy healing is
Mm-hmm.
we don't need to be scared of emotions. Remember how
People
powerful.
are scared, aren't they? They're really scared of their emotions.
Because they think they're going to get stuck in it.
Yeah.
And this is where people like myself, that's the way they get
You've
stuck.
literally, as soon as you said that, a light went off above your head. People are scared they're going to get stuck in the emotion, but isn't everything temporary?
Everything's temporary.
Everything's a season. I said it today to my mom. I was like, Mom, it's a season. Everything's a season. She just frowns at me. But it's like, it will pass. Everything passes.
This too shall pass.
Yeah.
You know? It's crazy that we all think that everything is forever. Even a
Yeah.
decision that you make and you're like, right, this is it. I've got to do it now. You're allowed to change your mind. You know, like you're allowed to make a decision and then you're allowed to make another decision.
Yeah.
And everything
no
you do,
rule.
exactly.
Yeah.
There's no rule that you have to say, right, I've chosen this now and this is it.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times people move house? Very
Yeah.
rarely do people stay. And that's a massive purchase. That's probably the biggest purchase you're ever going to make. But
Yeah.
most people make it at least once in their
Yeah.
life. So even the home that you live in, you don't live in forever. Everything is temporary.
Everything's temporary.
So
This life is temporary.
exactly. Every emotion is temporary. The happiness that you feel, the joy you feel, the love you feel, that's temporary. Because sometimes when you look at your partner, you can be like, I don't love you right now at the moment as much as I did before. There's a baseline underlying of love. But right now, in this moment, when you're irritating me, that love is parked. It's a different emotion right now. And then it comes back, right? Hopefully. But everything's temporary.
Do you know what I love to do? And I know you do this. I bank moments.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm that weirdo that if you went out and you're with all your friends or Christmas Day or, you know, when you've got everyone you love in one place,
Yeah.
I just literally, when everyone's chatting and stuff, I have a quick look around and I just remember it. I like make some sort of memory in my head. It reminds me of that kids' film, Inside Out. Like I
Yeah.
literally sit there and go, right, okay, remember this moment. Remember how you feel. Remember all the love. Remember the gratitude. I love it. And so many times people have caught me do it. And they go, you okay? You're right. And I've seen people, my friend did it at her wedding. She was on the top table and I was banking the moment. And she looked up at me and she went, okay. Like she mouthed to me, you okay? And I was going, fine, like that. But I couldn't tell her
That you're just like,
I'm banking the memory of your wedding. I look
yeah.
like a freak. But equally, it was just one of those things where everyone was joyous. She'd met the love of her life. And I was just like, oh, I just love it.
Yeah.
It's just really soaking it in.
And it's really important to do that because we're all going to have times when things are not great, when we are in the depths of the depths and we are feeling like, why am I here? And if everyone is honest with themselves, I can pretty much guarantee that everyone's had that thought, like, why the hell am I even here? What is the point of this? What is the point of life? But it's at those times when you want to like go back into your little memory bank and pick
Remember
out
all
those
those
things.
moments.
Yeah, but it's difficult. It is.
It is. And you should remember that when you're like on a bigger mission, it is hard at times to hold that frequency all the time when it looks like it's not happening, but it is happening. And you know what? You'll look back and go, oh, remember Lakhmi? Oh, bless little me when I used to do this, this, and this. Remember when I was so hopeful and I'd go live every day? Remember when I wore my sunglasses? You've already done it. Like you're
Yeah.
already looking back in fond memory at you showing up, not always perfect. And you know, don't be hard on yourself because all of these, this is part of it. This is the season where it's growing.
Yeah.
Enjoy the growth, enjoy the journey, enjoy I want to quit. The amount of times I've said to Mr. H, like just after, not even a bad day, I genuinely don't have bad days with spirit, but sometimes I think, oh, it's a lot. And I look at my friends who are going out so freely and I'm like, I've got to go and make sure I've get this done. I've got to record this. I've got to send that to so and so, like all the admin bits. And I've got to have a team meeting. Then I've got to go and do this. And I see them all going off to Pilates or something. And I think, oh, I wish I could just maybe go and work in Tesco. Maybe I should just go and have a normal life.
People, I love
and
that
then
you
I
said
look
that.
at their eyes and I go,
Nah.
Because not my friends, but like I look at other people around and I think you all look half asleep.
Yeah.
You just look so disconnected.
And that's so true. And also love that you like highlight that because I think people look at people like us and they think, oh yeah, they're just like living their lives.
Which we do.
Which we do. But there's so much admin stuff. Like, oh my gosh,
so
the stuff
much.
behind the scenes. Like you're seeing all this nice, oh, look at this. The amount of work it takes to put stuff together and then edit it after, which is why I didn't do a video on my podcast. I was like, I'm not editing this. Even if I've got like people to help me, you still have to have the final say, right? Like, as in,
It's everything. It's managing all the different people. The bigger you get, the more there is to manage.
yeah,
And obviously, you've got to be mindful of what you're putting out. It has to be the more people watching. You have to be not careful, because I don't believe in that. I think you should share what you're here to share.
be authentic.
But yeah, absolutely. But I do, and I don't think I could be any other way.
Uh-huh.
But I do think there is more of an awareness of what your mission is. And it's even like the accounts, like when you get to a certain point, you've got to know so much about the UK tax system, and you've got to, I won't go into all of that now, but what I'm saying is there's so much to this other than just sharing your message. And it isn't for the faint-hearted. It really isn't.
Oh, tell me
And
about it.
that's what I'm saying. Enjoy the growth, because every time you overcome any of these things, I think, God, I didn't think I could do that, but well done me. Like
Yeah.
you get an achievement in it yourself as well as the message. So
It's,
spirit give us the healing, your guides and the angels bring all of the magic, but we have to bring it to the humans.
yeah.
And the humans then have to monitor what we do to make sure the other humans are safe. So there's many things we have to take into consideration.
So true.
It's big, isn't it?
I know.
Yeah. Lakhmi, you are amazing.
Oh,
We love you, and we love you
yeah.
shining your light. And I just think keep shining it, keep showing, and keep being honest about it as well, because there'll be people watching this that will be going to their 9 to 5 or doing something they don't want to do every day and wishing that they could maybe pick up that course that they did ages ago on Reiki. I can see you all, or sound healing, or even psychic development, wishing that they could go and train. And maybe we together on this have given them that light. And so every time you go live, remember that there's people watching.
Yeah.
People need you to lead the way and stand forward. It's not always easy, but we appreciate that you do. And there's people that need to do it.
Thank you
So
so
next time
much.
you want to give up, remember yourself that.
I
Okay?
will. Thank you. And I have to say a big thank you to you, because honestly, like, oh God, I get a bit emotional now, but like, without you, like, this wouldn't have happened. So I would have just given up.
No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. They wouldn't let you. They wouldn't let you.
But I'm just so grateful that you came into my life, and that yeah, you've helped not just me, but like so many of my like close people.
Yeah.
And we all love you as well.
Oh, I love you too. And honestly, thank you for trusting me, because I know after what you went through, that was massive. And I didn't take that lightly, that you did trust me and let me
Yeah.
in. And that's why lifetime together,
Yes.
changing lives.
I know. I can't wait.
Amazing.
Yay.
So, thank you for being here. I've got one more thing to ask of you before you go. At the end of our episodes, which I tried to warn you about because I forgot to warn all the other guests, and she was like, "No, I've listened to all your podcasts. I know what you do at the end."
Yeah.
So, I would like you to take one of these lovely feathers. Hang on, I keep knocking over this mic. So, if you can take this lovely little feather and place it in your left hand, and if you can, I know the fan's on, but if you, so try not to let it blow away. But if you can set an intention for our listeners here, so they get some inspiration and they feel the presence of you and your energy and what you wish for them to take home today after listening to this.
So I had thought about this on my drive up, and it just came so, I thought, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to say? But it came so easily, so easily. I was like, this is it. So for all of you listening and watching, my intention is,
Oh, sorry, one sec.
Yeah.
Forces of the highest good in intention of purity and light. Now go.
my intention for you all is the 4 Ps. May you find your passion, your purpose, your peace, and more importantly, your power, because I want everyone to remember how powerful they are.
Oh.
And don't let anyone ever take that away from you.
I love that. Thank you.
No
I
worries.
love that.
Oh,
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you everyone for listening. I know this has been such a big one. Please leave us a comment and go and follow Lakhmi. All the credentials are in all the show notes. Go and let her know what you thought about this, because she's been so brave here today, sharing, I can feel the emotion, sharing so much from her heart, and it's not easy. So thank you.
thank
Love
you. I love you
Thank
too. And I've also got you a little present, if you don't mind me.
Oh, Oh,
because
I love a cheeky present.
obviously feathers are your thing.
Yeah, feathers are massively my thing.
And so I got you a feather pen.
Oh my God, I love it.
There you go.
Oh, this is amazing. If you're not watching on YouTube, you can't see it, but it's silver glitter at the top. I love
Yep.
glitter. And it's also got the white feather in, and it's a silver pen. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Do you know, the weird thing was, so my daughter's going back to sixth form in September. So I ordered her some new pens, stole one of the pens out the pack, and thought, I really want a new pen, but I want a nice pen.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't know which one to get. And then you've just given me a pen.
There you go.
I've manifested this.
You
Thank you
manifested
so
it, it's
much. I
okay.
love it. It's
Oh,
beautiful.
I ordered some because I wanted to start journaling a little
Yeah.
bit. I don't journal. That's why I was like, I got my 1 minute journal. So I was like, let me just find a fancy pen so it would
Yeah.
like promote me to also use it. And then it came in a pack of 3 and I wanted the gold one. Sorry, it came in a pack of 2 and I wanted the gold one. And I was like, I know who to give that to. And I
Oh,
was
I
like,
love it.
yeah.
Oh, I absolutely love it.
Oh,
Thank you.
no
That's
worries.
really thoughtful. I'm going to put it in my office.
Yeah, I do because I see your stuff in the lives. I was like, this would be great, Katie.
I know. It's beautiful. Thank you.
Mwah. I
Oh,
love you
thank
so
you for being
much.
here. Mwah.